Lesson 93 is something titled the discriminant. Now, in lesson 70, we developed what's known as the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. What I've highlighted, the square root of b squared minus 4ac, we consider that the discriminant. Because whatever that equals, that tells us if we're going to get just one answer for x, if we'll get two different real numbers, or if we'll get two different complex numbers. So basically, we can use the discriminant to discriminate between those three choices. One real number, two different real numbers, or two different complex numbers. If b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, we only get one real number for a solution. If that's a positive value, then we'll get two different real numbers for solutions. And if it's a negative value, then we know we'll get two different complex numbers for solutions, because the square root of a negative number, that's a complex number. Or actually, that's an imaginary number, and we add that to the real part to get a complex number. And so what I want you to do with this practice problem is just look at the discriminant and tell me what type of solution we'll get. Will it be one real number, two different real numbers, or two different complex numbers? Don't solve this, just substitute into the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And so let's go ahead and do that. First, we'll rearrange this in standard form. That's always what we want to do anytime we're working with some kind of quadratic equation operation. Okay, so a is 4, b is negative 1, and c is positive 1. And so substitute into the discriminant square root of negative 4 times negative 4. That would be 16 minus 4 times a is 4 times c is 1. And so that would just be 16 minus 16 equals 0. And so that's not our answer. What we want to do is tell what type of solution we will get. And so since the discriminant is 0, that means we would get a single real number. That's what we write down for the answer to that problem. Let's do one more. Let's rearrange this first and get it in standard form. And so we'd say x squared plus 3x plus 9. And I want you to tell me what type of solution we'll get. And so you just substitute into the discriminant, because it discriminates between those three types of solutions. And you'll have b squared, which would equal 9, minus 4 times a is 1, and then times c is 9. And so basically we have the square root of 9 minus 36. That would be the square root of negative 27, which would be 3 times the square root of 3i. Now we didn't have to get 3 times the square root of 3i, because we had that negative number under the square root. We knew right away that we were going to have two complex numbers for our solutions to that quadratic equation. So the discriminant, it basically discriminates between those three types of solutions, and it's the component of the quadratic formula that has all three coefficients in it, a, b, and c. And we can just tell it's a really important part of the quadratic formula, because it distinguishes between whether we're going to get one real number, two different real numbers, or two different complex numbers. Okay, well that's all for lesson 93.